Hello my dear friends, and today I have decided to make one more video about the golf statistics, and the reason for this video was the struggle, the battle during um, the last tournament, the Honda Classic 2020. As for me, it was mostly the battle between the Sangjae Im and the Tommy Fleetwood. Um, it was certainly the Tommy Fleetwood. As a result, was just on the third position after Mackenzie Hughes, but it was mostly the struggle among those two players. After two holes in the last day, when the Tommy have made two birdies and he had a score -7 on those moments, but Sangjae have started also perfectly, and he have made 4 birdies on the first 5 holes. It was seemed that the Tommy Fleetwood have some advantage. It was just one stroke, but it looks that statistically he had advantage against the Sangjae. And in this case it was very interesting. What will happen? What will win? The luck or the statistics? And it seems that the luck was win. But from the other side, if we will look for the statistics of Sangjae Im this season and statistics of Tommy Fleetwood this season, we will find, and also looking for the strokes which were made, for the birdies which were made by the Sangjae Im during the last day, we will find that maybe the luck was not so highly important for Sangjae Im winning. In some cases, yes, he have played 66, and that was a very good score. But from the other side, he had the same score in the second day of this tournament. In this connection, it's not so. That he 66 is not. It's better than he is playing, better than average for him, but it's not exactly something extraordinary for this player. In this connection, we could not talk just about the luck and flyings. At first, we will see exactly for the game of these players by hole in the last day of the tournament, and after that, I think that we will try to analyze the statistics, the longer-term statistics of those players. So the Sangjae have started the first hole very well. First of all, the statistics in this day, we can see that Sangjae statistically have played till the green, till the putting, have played not so good day, because his driving distance was not so bad. From the other side, driving accuracy percentage was quite low. And relative to the week average, and the green and regulation was also poor, just 56% against the 56 against 69, and it's a difference in the 40%. It's approximately 2 holes minus. So it seems that he had not so many reasons to finish this day with such a good result. But we need to say that his approaches, in my opinion, his approaches was the reason for his winning. Certainly the putting from 10 foot and 10 inches to the hole, it's not the 100% probability, so it's not an easy task to make the putting from such distance. But from the other side, his approach was very good on this hole. On the second hole, on the third hole, where he also had a birdie, his approaching was very good. Later, again from the 108 yards to the hole and 8 foot and 0 inches to the hole. In my opinion, the 8 foot is a critical distance for the proximity, because from 8 foot we are starting to have the probability of the one putt is critical. So inside 8 foot, there the probability is the higher than, let's say, from the distances 9 foot or 10 foot, and non-linearity becoming influence in the putting. Results the probability of the putting from the distance 9, 10, 11, 12 is becoming drawn down quite quickly than before. So the distance, the probability between 6 foot and 8 foot is not so highly different as between 8 and 10 foot, for example. So it was the 8th hole, 4th hole, and on the 5th hole, he again is making very good stroke on the green. It was a tee shot, but it's also something like approaching by the distance. And in this connection, it's on a par 3 hole, and he had just 5 foot and 8 inches to take a birdie. But we need also to say that it's not so big problem statistically, but from the other side, on the next 3 par hole, when he make a bogey, he would need not to make a bogey from such distances, because this 6 foot and 2 inches putt, it's quite a usual putting for him, and the probability of the one putt from this distance, I think that for him more than 60%, 70%, but this time he have lost this putt. Again, 6 foot to the hole, and again we see that it's very good approaching from distance approximately 150 yards to the hole. So on the 12th hole, we see that even more terrible mistakes in the short putting, just 3 foot to the hole, and he's making much more longer putt, and he have lost the par on this hole just in putting. And the situation is, which is not so directly described, because 5 foot and 80 inches, it's distance from which maybe just 60 or something like this percent is made from the one putt. So in this connection, in some cases it seems that he have lost the stroke on this hole, but it's not exactly 7 foot 10 inches, and again we see that he have made a birdie, second birdie on the par 3 holes. This is also telling us that his approaching distances from 100 yards to the 200 yards was the good strong component in this day. And the 17th hole, and again par 3, and it was the third birdie on the par 3 in this day. It's an incredible result, and it's much more better than his long-term performance. In the case of the Tommy Fleetwood game, we will find that first 2 holes he have started very nicely, but you see that his approaching was not so good on the first hole, and this hole was made in birdie mostly thanks to the putting. 13 foot and 1 inch is quite a difficult distance for the putting, but he have made just 1 putt, and he received a birdie on this distance. And again, the situation then from the 100 yards to the hole, 11 foot and 5 inches is not so perfect result for approaching. It's more than it's good exactly. It's very good, but it's not so perfect in the case that it will be quite difficult to make putting from this distance to have 1 putt only. But Tommy have did it in this connection. It seems that his statistics and his luck on this day was very good for him, but it was not exactly shown on the next holes. So he have made mistake in the second stroke. Then he made this stroke from the 187 yards to the hole, and this stroke was finished just on the 134 yards to the on the left far away. So I think that this stroke was a reason for the bogey, mostly on this hole. He have reasons to save the par this holes to play, to receive the scrambling, good scrambling, but he could not make the one putt from the 9 foot and 1 inch. So the next bogey hole is the very critical situation. For me, you see that he was against not so good as his putting, not so good as his statistics on this hole, because from 127 yards to the hole, he's making stroke in the green side bunker. Unreasonable mistake, in my opinion, for such a distance. And after that, he was not so good from the bunker. He have lost maybe half of stroke on this stroke, and the next stroke was also not so good. So as we see later, the problem that Tom Fleetwood couldn't win is relative for his shorter game and the game around the green, because this season he have a very low figure of the scrambling. Last season he was leader in this component, and this season he is making 15% less better than he was last year. So very good putting have make him to make the birdie from the distance 24 foot and 4 inches on the 17th hole, and on the 18th he had the dramatical penalty when he have made a very long stroke from 233 yards, but he was in the water. He was in the water, and in this connection he have received penalty, and after that he received the bogey on the par 5 hole, and that is critical. It's quite interesting that this on this tournament they have just 2 par 5 holes. In this connection the par was 70, so it was not that's advantage to make the par 5 holes 4 times during every day, and usually, as we know, the birdies are mostly done on the par 5 holes. In this connection, the Sangjae Im have win mostly because he have played the par 3 holes exactly perfect. So if we would like to take a look for the longer term statistics of the players, we will find that this season the Sangjae Im is playing much more better than he was played the last season. There are not so many tournaments this season, certainly, but from the other side, this statistics is becoming very viewable, because the birdies average, you will see that 4.54, and the last season he had just 4.07. It's quite a big difference. It's 4 points. It's quite a big distance. And also we see the driving distance. His driving distance this season will also improved. Greens and regulation percentage was not improved. Scrambling 64.5. It's approximately the same as it was last year for him. So he's quite good in this component, but a little bit better than the last year. And it's also interesting to see that he's very good in the putts per round, for round 4 exactly, because in the last day he have very good putting statistics. The strongest part of the Sangjae Im game, in my opinion, is the putting, because in all other components he's average or less than average, for example around the green, but these tournaments on the Honda Classic he was very good and around the green. In approaches the green he have very good statistics, and in this connection it is also relative with his best results, which were shown in the last day of the Honda Classic. In the case of Fleetwood, we need to say that the Tommy was just a second. Oh, excuse me. He was the best player in the scrambling, and he was very good in the game around the green. His scrambling was perfect. His scrambling from the rough was exactly even better than his scrambling at average, and scrambling from the fringe was not so the strong part of game, but the scrambling from the fringe is something very close to the putting mostly, but not for the scrambling, because the distances and because also the because distances and because the technique of the stroke. The proximity to the hole from the sand was very good last season, and the sand safe percentage, the scrambling from the sand was also very good. And in the putting, we see that he's not so good. The putting average is not so perfect. The overall putting average is not so impressive. The 3-putt avoidance putt average maybe less than average, and 1-putt percentage is also not so perfect. So in this connection, the scrambling was the part of the game which given him to have so huge results, so good results, not huge, as he had last season. Without such a scrambling, he will be not so good. And we can see that in this year he still have the advantage from around the green, but it's quite difficult understandable from which sources, because you see that in sand safe percentage he have just 52% relative to the 62 which were last year, and the scrambling he have just 56% relative to the 68 which were last year. And the scrambling from the rough, it's again the situation that he have approximately 58%, but he had 70% last year. And the scrambling for the fringe, he become even less good as it was last year. It seems that in the putting he have reached some advantage, because his putting at average become a little bit better. Overall putting is approximately the same, but the 1-putt percentage is stayed stable as it was last year, and the 3-putt avoidance is 3%. And the putts per round in the end round is in the fourth round is approximately 28.6. So in this connection we can say that it was a reasonable winning for Sangjae Im, because the Tommy Fleetwood have played less better than his average statistics. Mostly he have lost his winning maybe, or at least playoff, because he was not so good in the scrambling. If he will play the scrambling at his average level, he had reasons to even to win. Sangjae Im was perfect in this day. Mostly he was perfect in the approaching, and he was also very good in the putting, and his connection, I think that his winning was very reasonable, because he have played a little bit better than his statistics, and the Dustin and the Tommy Fleetwood have played less good than his statistics. And this connection, I think that it's reasonable to say the skills and the statistic has win, but not the luck. Thank you very much, dear friends. I hope to receive your opinions about the such videos. Do you think that they are interesting or not? I have received many likes from the links for these videos, which are sent on different forums on the Facebook, which are related to the golf, and this connection is giving me some optimism and some that motivation, very good motivation to work in this subject. And this connection, I will try to make much more other videos. The next video I will try to do about the most interesting component, that favorable component of the game, driving distance, because it seems that this year we have some changes among the leaders in the driving distance, and it's quite interesting to analyze the golf swing and to see in what direction the tee shots and driving strokes are developing in the PGA Golf Tour. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good golf. Hope to see you on my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell to be informed about my new videos. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again. Have a good golf.